What's up, guys? We are back at it again with some more War of Wizards. We are going to be taking a look at the remaining free rotation spells this week. We've done our previous videos on the Dragon spell. We tried out the Sacrificial Fusion, so if you're interested in some information on either of those, go ahead and check out one of my previous videos there. But today we're going to be taking a look at the remaining free rotation spells. So that's going to be the Fireball spell, which we did use in the last video just a little bit, but we'll throw it back in here just because it's one of the basic spells that most people will have. Hurricane spell. This is a pushback effect, so we'll take a look at kind of how this works and good strategies to use it for, sort of tips and tricks on it, because it can be kind of a tricky spell to get good with. We've got the Divine Shield spell coming into play here, so this one's pretty obvious, shielding for yourself and stuff, and size effect is going to be duration of shield, whereas accuracy will give like how many hit points that shield's going to provide. And then we have the Blizzard spell coming up. So we've got accuracy for damage and size effect for how long that the Blizzard will last. So we're going to take a look at some games, try and get some tips and tricks out there for you guys on how these spells work. And then we'll check out some of the pre-selected. We've got the Summon Water Elemental, another one of the free rotation spells this week. And Machine Gun spell, just one of my favorites for keeping up with the pace of the game, but definitely because this is going to be kind of a strange deck combination, just since I'm trying to use all the free rotation spells here, we don't really have any summon potential, nothing to put on the field. So taking the Water Elemental as a pre-selected falling spell, just so that we can hopefully pick up something to get a little bit more damage in the lane fight down there and hopefully win some games with that. But yeah, we will hop into a game here and kind of go over some of how these spells work and hopefully get some good tips out there for you guys. We'll see what we've got. Going Magister 3, so should be a pretty good one here. We will go ahead and turn his volume down a little bit. So in this case, since we don't really have any summons, basically what we're going to want to do is start off with just like some damage. We're just going to want to hit something. We want to take out these guys pretty quick if we can, just because they're going to do buffs to his troops. So we don't want to get let them go too long there. So we will test out the Blizzard spell here on those guys, kind of just knock them down a little bit, make sure that we don't have to deal with that too bad. And it looks like he is going to be running something of a summon deck. So what we'll want to do against this is basically just like try and keep up the offensive pressure. And so we can use a Hurricane here to kind of push his troops back a little bit. If you've seen some of my other videos, then you'll know kind of how I feel about the Hurricane spell in general. Just, I think it's a bit of a delay tactic. If you don't have a way to deal with that after the fact, then you're going to have a hard time, because now, as you can see, he's got a large amount of troops coming at me, and I don't have a whole lot that I can do about it. So we do pretty quickly want to get our own summons abilities out here so that we can kind of fight back against what he's got going on a little bit. And then we will sort of showcase how we're going to combine the spells that we have to make better use of the Hurricane spell. Just as is, it's a little bit weak if you don't play it just right. And so we will want to, like I said, keep up the aggression on this guy a little bit more. With his summons in the way, it's really hard to get a fireball off on him because his summons are constantly like in our path. Hopefully we can sort of utilize our own summons to shield ourselves too against his fireball, and we'll try and pop off a few rounds here while we hide behind our own summons, wait for him to go off for that fireball shot, and hopefully he's just going to kind of waste his time over there a little bit and let our units do some damage. We've got a lot of mana built up now, so we will see if we can get a cast off here really quick, another summon, and then we'll show here. Maybe I'll do a little bit on how this spell can be of more use. So we'll wait for him to get his secondary summon out, and then we'll, oh, I guess that spell kind of went off. I can't hold that spell, I guess. But once we've got a large grouping of his guys coming towards us, we're going to utilize the Blizzard spell. Where is that dude going? I don't know what's going on over there, but he's gone. We'll use the Blizzard here in the middle to kind of clean up the larger group that we have to deal with now, since we did sort of push everything back and we have to deal with that. And we'll dodge out of this as best we can. We've got to sort of watch this guy because that does a lot of damage. And now we will attempt to get some more buff units since we've got some guys on his core. We want to make sure we can keep this out. And now here's where Hurricane does kind of shine, is when you have units approaching their core and you can push them back away from the core. You can get your guys right up on top of them so that your units can target his main core there before they work their way back forward. And so that can be really big if you can time it out just right with your guys attacking when they are pushed back enough that you don't necessarily have to worry too much about his defense. What a cast. That was beautiful, huh? Got a good dodge there. So we will kind of build up a little bit more mana here. He's going to put down some more summons. So we have this off cooldown, which means we can kind of go in for a small push back here. Always watching your opponent, obviously. We're keeping that all the time in the back of our minds, what he's doing, making sure that we can avoid getting hit by the vast majority of his stuff. So we've got a nice cast here. Hopefully we can kind of kill him with that shot. And we do manage to do that. So let's get some more buffing units out on the field. Like I've said, the water elementals are great because they do apply a buff to every unit that's out there. So you can kind of see their little icon in the top right showing that they are buffed. And that does a lot for keeping them alive, letting them do a little bit more damage. So he's going to get his buff units out. We're going to work on trying to knock those guys down as fast as we can with some machine gun spells so that we have the advantage in that fight and our units can do more than his. He did kind of the same move there where he used his fireball to take out our buff guys. We will go ahead and try and do another fireball on him. He's going to try and dodge out of it, but oh, just barely missed. So here we have some confusion. We will push back these troops just so that they're not causing us a problem right now. We'll get some more buff units out on the field to match him so that we're fighting at least evenly. And then as soon as the rest of his troops kind of come up, this is when we're going to want to apply our like AoE abilities here with the snowstorm so that we can clean up all of his troops a lot easier, making sure that we don't take too much damage from him having all of those units out. He does want this Sheepify. I'm going to try and break it from him, but no, we don't end up getting it. I don't know what this one is. Okay, that's not going to give that to me. Oh, it did give it to me. Okay, so this is Blood-Sucking Bats, so it's going to basically drain his health and heal me. He ended up getting Hurricane as well there, it looks like. So we'll just utilize the fact that he's going to be trying to push back our units, but he isn't going to have as good of a way of cleaning up the main field, just like as we are with the Blizzard spell. So we will prep another Blizzard spell to use as soon as we are able and get that on the field to kind of take out all of his units. And now that we've got his units out of the way, we're going to get ready to push everything so that we can have our units attacking directly on his core so that the units that are spawning out aren't blocking it. And that's going to do a lot for us to be able to damage. And so you can see he's going to be pushing back our units, but because he doesn't have a good way, like look how many units are stacking up. And now I'm like perfectly shielded by all of these big guys. He's going to have a really hard time getting through this amount of summons, just like even though we're not really running a summon deck, we have a lot more guys coming at him because he's pushing them without a way to clear them out effectively like we can. So we'll test out the bat. I've never used this one before, so we'll kind of see how this works and give it a try. I think it should be pretty good. I've been hit with it before, but yeah, we ended up just taking his core there, just like overwhelmed him with too many people. So that's a good way to utilize Hurricane. It's just that if you're going to run Hurricane, you need to make sure that you have something that does AoE, something that can clean up a large amount, because Hurricane's not doing any damage to your opponent's troops. So without having some way of cleaning them up after you've hurricaned and like they're stacking up, you're really just like delaying your problem and making it worse for yourself later. So we did kind of have a good combination there with that. And then of course the fireball is really good damage, so we can kind of take him out and kill him when we have the opportunity. But we'll jump into another one and kind of take a look and see how it goes. There's a lot of different like methods that you can kind of use, and Hurricane kind of comes down to just like understanding timing, understanding the flow of the game. Like you want to make sure that you're using it either when your units are on their tower and they have units coming in that are going to take targeting and distract, so you can push them away to consolidate all of your damage on their tower or on their core. That's going to be a really big portion of like how to use this spell appropriately. And then just obviously being able to deal with the repercussions of doing that later is always going to be important. So as long as you can keep up with that. And then Divine Shield is kind of nice if you're not going to run heal, which is like one of my standards. I generally like to run heal. Just helps you out a lot in some situations where you might miss some dodges or like just have to deal with difficult spells to dodge in general. But if you're a little bit more preemptive with it, the shielding spell can be good too, just giving you that overheal enough that you don't have to worry about taking as big of a hit from most spells. So we will again start out with a attack play, just creating a little fireball attack quickly and see if we can get that off before he does that, but we don't, so that's okay. We'll go ahead and put on a little shield since we are low health now. That will help out a lot, not getting taken out by the rest of his spam. And then we'll try and grab a few shots on him here. We're not too worried about this first wave of troops. They are shielded from our shield spell as well, so we won't have too much of a problem. In this case, we are going to go ahead and do a Hurricane here just because it'll allow us to get our troops directly onto his tower, hopefully, without him being able to do much about it. We are probably going to die to this hammer toss. It's just like really consistent and hard to dodge. It comes out often, and it's like you can see as I like dodge side to side, it really doesn't matter. It seems to hit me anyway. But we'll get back in here with a Blizzard spell to clean up the rest of his spam. And then see what we can do from there. So we'll get that out as quickly as we can. Sort of all these spells drop and we take a look, and we will have our water elemental that we want to get just to give us the extra. Oh, I can't fire while my thing is going off, but we'll get it anyway. So it's fine. He's going to be doing, I don't know what that does. Oh, so okay, this is the quartet. So this is the one that a lot of people are using right now. So I'll kind of explain what these different guys do. So the guy on the right that I just took out, he prevents you from using your wand. So you want to get rid of that guy quick if you like have any chance of like defending against this push, because if you can't cast spells, you can't shoot, you're going to have a really hard time. So then what else is going to happen here is I forgot my inner circle on that cast. We have the guy on the far left here. He's going to blind us. This guy here is going to drain our mana away. And this guy is just going to basically come up and just slap us in the face several times and try and kill us. So depending on like how good the cast is, this will probably do more damage, and it looks like it's going to definitely do enough to kill me out here. But oh well, maybe not. It was close, but yeah, got a hammer coming in when we can't see anything. So generally, what I like to do if I have some more like offensive attacks, then I will take out the guy that disables my wand, just because that's a big problem for like having to deal with that later on. And then if you can take out the guy that does damage to you, that's really nice. The guy that's blinding is usually my next one. The one that's draining your mana is usually not like my biggest concern. It's not a like super quick mana drain, so you can still get a decent amount of stuff off even while he's doing that, as long as you're doing it appropriately and using it your spells like quickly before you're completely drained of mana. And so we're gonna see if we can hold this blizzard spell a little bit until his next wave comes out, because we want to catch his next wave with the blizzard. Right now we're getting some good damage on his tower, and then yeah, as soon as these guys come out, we'll cast a blizzard down on them just to eliminate his wave right off the bat. This will give us a good opportunity to do that. We do want to take our machine gun since he has the Legion's spell. That makes a really easy cleanup for that. But we'll go ahead and try and get our buffing units out for our guys who are on the tower. He's going to try and clean them up with this dragon, which will work. The dragon is like difficult to dodge, but he's going to focus it mostly over there, so we're not too worried about that. We'll get a shield spell off, hopefully, to kind of keep us and our units protected. And then we will probably go in for just like a machine gun, trying to get a little bit of damage on the opponent here while he's busy. It'll force him into using a shielding spell, which is fine. If he does that, if he gets it off, that's fine. We'll just focus on the tower, which he won't have a lot he can do about. So we'll go ahead and use a hurricane really quick just to see if we can push back his units back behind his tower, which will allow us to get more damage on the core as our guys come in, and gives us a little bit extra time here to throw down a blizzard on those guys so that we can take that core, hopefully. And I think that will just about do it. Okay, so we'll go in again, a couple extra summons, get some buffs on our guys. We are going to be taking a little bit of damage here from him, which is annoying, but we'll try and see. He shouldn't have shield spell back up yet, so he is going to have to dodge this attack now. And we got him before he could hit us again. So that's great. That's basically that should be a GG. There's not really much he can do. We'll prep a hurricane here now to push back whatever units like spawn out of his core, but that's that. So there's a couple of games just showing you guys kind of how these new spells work. This guy was like running, so the Abyssal Quartet is a good one. It's one of the like newer spells that does a lot, and he didn't have it paired with Last Stand, which is what I've seen most commonly, is that the Last Stand combination with that is like you can spawn in at least 3 of these if you're fast with it. And then like the first one will kill the guy, and the other 2 are just sitting there kind of waiting for you to respawn. And as soon as you respawn, there's nothing you can do. So your wand gets taken, you can't see anything, and then you're just getting attacked. So that combination can often result in like a double kill pretty easily. The hammer is pretty good. It's the second game we've seen now with somebody using that, and it seems pretty powerful. It does a lot of damage on hits, and you can throw it multiple times. So kind of a similar aspect to the gun spell, just being able to like consistently throw a high damage attack over and over. And it does really well against summons as well. And like the closer you are, like they are to you, the quicker it comes back. So if you're using it on creatures like right in front of your area, you can repeatedly blast creatures down really quickly. So that's pretty nice. But overall, we ended up kind of just like being able to get him by clearing out the field. The blizzard spells look really good with AoE, and just like because like the game is won by taking their core. So using that combination of being able to hurricane his troops away when our units are going into his tower or into his core, giving us the opportunity to focus damage on that area is really good. And then just having that to clean up the extra troops that are going to come back later. And of course, Fireball, just like as a high damage spell, being able to S cast that accuracy is like pretty much a one hit kill every time. So that's really useful. He was running the shield and the charm ability. I think that's the one that like turns your opponent's people against them. And so his use of the shield kind of prevented us from using fireball sometimes, or even our machine gun. So just like watch out for that. Make sure that you always are like seeing when your opponent's doing that, and then just focus more on the field and winning the game down on the bridge. So you can progress that way. But yeah, overall some good games, and those are some tips and tricks for the new free rotation spells out there. So hopefully that helps you guys out. And if you enjoyed, drop a like on the video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.